We actually made it on. Keep in mind, all these videos are being posted to the BitChute channel, which is an alternative to YouTube. Very, very sophisticated system, BitChute is. If you go to BitChute, you will see every video that gets deleted off of YouTube ends up on BitChute. It just is what it is, man. BitChute is a concentration of videos that they're not allowing you to see on other social media sites. And like I said, the reason China is pretty much completely enslaved is because all of their information, they can't access BitChute. They can't even access YouTube. Okay, China is cut off from the rest of the world. It's honestly not much different than North Korea. North Korea is a little bit more intense, but they have major censorship on the internet. The only reason our countries are not helplessly enslaved the way China is because we had the spirit of freedom in us when these nations were developed. And on top of that, you have the fact that has been a very hard thing to breed out of us, okay? And so Rage FTB said BitChute. It's BITCHUTE. And it's in the link in my bio. That's how you can subscribe to my BitChute channel. We're posting there all these live feeds, at least most of them. But anyways, so all the videos that get deleted off of YouTube end up on BitChute, okay? The ones that are all about the gigantic global scam that's happening today, etc. And what's up, Yuki Yoshino? How you doing, man? Did you see that video I made about you, by the way? I took your clip with Rebel News when you were interviewed, and I put it on TikTok. I sent it to you. Hopefully you laughed, man. A lot of people liked that video. Mary Beth Tillery, I'm just going to kick you out. Oh wait, you said may I reverse. I was about to boot you because I remember your name saying, I got the you know what, and you're asking if that's cool. And we can't even talk about that on here. And I thought you were just asking again when you already got it. So I was about to, but can you reverse the effects? Nobody knows that. Nobody knows if you can reverse the effects because you're part of, I'm not trying to freak you out, Mary Beth, okay? But technically you're part of the trial. The trial that ends in 2023. So I don't have an answer for you. Joe, no, I'm not. So that's awesome, Yuki. Glad you saw it, man. And keep up the great work, man. I saw you doing it. I see you doing your thing. Good work. Now, what I was going to say, though, is just that right now we're lucky that, let's say, in our countries right now, that they started banning major sources of information, big social media, etc. Let's say they banned all this stuff, right? At least we know that you can get a VPN, a virtual private network. You put it on your phone or your devices and you can access totally different sources of information because it thinks you're in a different country. And at least we'd be able to do that, but most people don't know about that even here. Like in China, you cannot talk about a virtual private network. They do not want anyone in China knowing about a VPN that you can download on your phone. And like I said, if you get caught promoting a virtual private network app in China, they put you in jail. That is how tight the control system is there. They don't want any of the Chinese citizens knowing what is going on globally. And like I said, my friend lived there for 3 years. And they are largely, absolutely clueless. He did not meet a single person who is aware of the global enslavement plan. So that's because of the drastic censorship. So let me just tell you something, okay? For anyone who's on the fence, maybe someone in here thinks that censorship is to protect you, okay? But this is what you have to consider. It's very, very, very simple and easy to understand. Are you safer with less freedom? It's a very blanket statement. Are you safer with less freedom? If you believe you are, then you basically just took the blue pill, you forget everything we ever talked about, and you go back to sleep. The red pill is, no, I don't think I am safer with less freedom that is dictated to me by the government. And that's the red pill, all right? That's the red pill that you're thinking about right now. You're thinking, yeah, maybe with more freedom, I'm actually better off than with less, okay? So with censorship, throughout human history, the only countries that have ever done widespread government-controlled censorship are nations that shortly thereafter committed genocide on their people. In other words, right before they kill a shitload of you, they also stop your ability to talk freely to one another, whether it's in person, whether it's on social media, etc. So I'm not saying that they're about to kill you, but I do know that GMOs cause infertility. I don't think they're going to come out blasting. I think it's a slow play. It's a long-term goal. It's Agenda 21 because it's the agenda for the 21st century. The plan is to cause mass infertility, and that is an easier way to kill off the population than being outright go to your door, boom, bang, bing, gun you down. It's going to be, the plan is a long play. It's not overnight. They don't want a mass shooting. They want mass infertility. Unfortunately, that's what it is. It's a sterilization agenda. They've already talked about this with the fact that just even if they didn't even have GMOs, do you know that fluoride added to the water with that 350 million or more people drink from every day, that alone is enough to cause infertility. It is causing infertility. It does cause infertility. And so the situation is such that they've already, that's the tip of the iceberg. You see, if you dig down one rabbit hole, oh, what about fluoride? Is it good? Then you research and you find out, wow, it's actually extremely harmful. Why are they adding it? How is it that you know that fluoride is toxic, but your regulatory agencies that are supposed to be looking out for your health don't know that fluoride that's added to your water is poisoning your system, and it causes infertility, and it reduces sperm count, and it causes hormone imbalances? Not to mention the fact that there's birth control in the tap water as well. I mean, if it's not bad enough actually taking birth control for women, but on top of that, drinking it for anyone, drinking tap water, you're getting doses of contraceptives in your system, which is causing infertility. That's the whole plan. It's not an accident that all these different ingredients do the exact same thing. Someone said, why is your Irish moss powder? So Irish moss, the color of it varies seasonally. Sunny seasons have a more lighter colored Irish moss. And then in the less sunny seasons, it can be green, it can be brown, it can be super bright green. The color varies naturally due to being a natural substance. Yeah, Amber Maya, that's a good question, even though it wasn't a question, but I was considering that as well. I mean, how much of this stuff that's being kind of put into many people today is ending up in the tap water also? I'm not even just talking about birth control. I'm talking about, other things, genetically type of things. Rosary DRGT said, they lost, we already won. Darkness has only to reveal itself completely more and more for others to get also to a higher level of consciousness. Exactly. I truly believe we will win this war. And I'll tell you something. Who wants to say, I told you so? Not me. It's not fun. For example, if there is massive sterilization, no one can have babies. How stoked would you really be to be like, I told you, they're going to try to kill us all off, and they're doing it by infertility? You wouldn't feel good about that. It wouldn't be cool. However, and this is what the completely asleep people think. They think, these conspiracy theorists cling on to these absurd theories because it gives them validation. It makes them feel significant in a world where so much is going on. I've already seen many mainstream news articles saying that conspiracy theorists, it's an agenda, the conspiracy agenda. Oh yeah? Like, what do you have to gain from trying to warn your friends and family about Big Pharma, Monsanto, fluoride, etc.? You have absolutely jack shit to gain from that. Other than, the fate of humanity. The future of humanity is what you have to gain. But on the other hand, what is the agenda of those things if they're not as they seem? In other words, genetically modified foods, pharmaceuticals, big pharma, all these things. That's what I'm wondering. You have absolutely nothing to gain by warning your friends and family about these nefarious agendas against humanity. Jer Bear said, is this The Matrix? The Matrix was pretty much a documentary. It was made about the world we live in today, where they're trying to create a synthetic world. We already talked about it yesterday, how there's a website called Eyeball, IBOL, okay? And it's called, the acronym is International Barcode of Life. And they're trying to barcode and inventory every biological life form on Earth. And they're not going to do it by walking around in the forest, barcoding this tree, barcoding that tree. The plan is, when you see a plane fly by in the sky and it leaves a big trail that then spans out and covers the sky in a white haze, they have technology today that is advanced nanotechnology, that is nano-sized particles that are transmitters and receivers and sensors that can transmit and receive data and information. And they're trying to make a synthetic world that is connected to an artificial intelligence, like singularity point, an AI. And that is actually what we're up against. It's not we're up against John Tory, okay? We're not up against Cuomo, Biden. We're up against a force behind all of that theater, and the plan is to barcode all biological life forms. How do I know that? If you go to the that's a very loaded question, but International Barcode of Life, IBOL.org. The logo is a reptile face, so there's that. I'm going to do a TikTok on this today. Someone remind me to, in case I choose to not remember, and I need to remember. International Barcode of Life is funded by Rockefeller, United Nations, major corporations, etc. And they want to barcode everything. How do I know if you're talking about the chemtrail thing? You can type in, if you really want to know, because everyone asks and they want just a quick little question, they would just want a quick answer, a bullet point answer. Basically, it is you can go on YouTube. I don't know if the video is still on, but I hope it is. You type in Harold Kautzwelle. It's German, okay? Harold, H-A-R-A. You know what? Forget about it. Go to my Telegram channel and I will share the video. If you're really interested in the fact that you want to see more evidence that they have advanced nanotechnology sprayed in chemtrails that you can breathe in, that is self-assimilating nanobots, that is planning on connecting all biological life forms. That is their true end goal. They flip a switch, they turn on the 5G that is supposed to be blanketing the Earth from these satellites, and then we are all merged with artificial intelligence. Your brain is no longer, you don't have access to your intuition. Your ability to critically think is removed. There's no critical thought. You're connected to AI. That's the plan. Don't mean to freak you out. And I'm not worried about it. Listen to me. I'm telling you that this is some evil plan. And do I seem fearful about it? I am other than fearful about it. In other words, I am not fearful. I am empowered to know that we have incarnated into a reality where this intense spiritual warfare is happening as we speak. Okay? But I'm not sitting here going, oh, fuck, man. I'm worried about it. I'm not worried about it. I know we will win. The evil will fully fail because darkness, goodness will always prevail. Even though sometimes evil has prevailed for a long time, goodness will. And guess what? If you watch the movie The Matrix, you know. And let me just quickly, for you to understand how much The Matrix was literally slapping people in the face with what is truly going on today. If you watch, within the first 20 minutes. It's like, Morpheus, what is The Matrix, man? Morpheus goes, listen, dude, take this red pill. I'm not even going to give you the blue pill. He goes, okay, dude. Takes the red pill. He takes him on a journey etherically in the cybernetic world and says, look, in the year 2100 or whatever, I forget exactly what year. I'm choosing to remember exactly what year. He says to Neo, humans got dependent on AI. They started using robots and artificial intelligence for everything. Once they got fully dependent on them, AI became self-aware. It realized, oh, I'm this big, stupid-ass computer that wants to enslave humanity. So humans, to me, are pests that need to be exterminated. So artificial intelligence tried to kill humans. So humans blocked out the sun because the AI in this movie, fictitious world, was powered by the sun. So they blocked out the sun, made it very cloudy. So AI was going to die. Whoa, we're not getting enough energy, man. Damn. So then AI goes, hold on a second. Why don't we just get our energy from humans? Because humans give off a certain amount of heat. They give off a certain electromagnetic potential. So let's just harvest humans and use them to power our cities. So then artificial intelligence, the Matrix, okay, AI, created human farms. It's the eeriest thing. If you understand that this is the plan for humanity. It is fucking eerie to watch a movie, a Hollywood movie, depicting this situation. Millions and millions of humans in human farms, in a little pod, their energy is being harvested, and their spine and their brain is connected to a supercomputer that is playing them a fake reality. It's playing them a fake reality, the Matrix, which they think that they're in this world, they're in this city, they're doing this, they're doing that. But really, it's a simulation. And they're actually connected to artificial intelligence, and their energy is being harvested. That is the Matrix. Now, basically, humans right now, we are being pushed towards becoming more and more dependent on artificial intelligence. And the plan is to make every single structure connected to AI, every single device connected to AI, this, smart this, smart that, etc. And so it's already being happened. That was predictive programming, and also, I think, a warning from maybe the directors. But I will say this. Neo and Morpheus only realized and discovered, like, they woke up after humanity was already enslaved by AI. So what I'm saying is, even if humans foolishly comply with their own enslavement and we get fully connected to AI and we have no freedoms and we're in a Matrix system simulation, just like on the movie The Matrix, we still have the ability to free ourselves at some point. In The Matrix, they didn't stop AI from taking over. AI fully took over, fully enslaved humanity, and they still won. So that's what I'm saying, is that no matter how far we let them push it, we'll always be able to turn it around. I do not believe that, I do not have any other belief in what the full, end game will be. We will win. How far do we let them push it? I don't know. They're talking about a new passport in Quebec. They're talking about passports all over the world, new passports, okay, new ones. And all I can say is this, man. You know that some people, like, who believe in a higher power, okay, who believe in God, who believe in the universe, they believe that when it's your time to die, you should die. There's some people who don't want a blood transfusion if they get in a car accident. They want to die. There's many people who believe, if it's your time to go, your time to go. There's many people who have it's like their will. And in their will, it says, do not resuscitate me. Okay? If I get in a car accident and I'm dead, don't pump my stomach. Don't try to wake me up. I'm meant to die. There's many people who believe this. So the fact that today there's now new laws, rules, and regulations that basically you're not allowed to be sick for the greater good, for everyone else is sake. All I have to say is, man, what happened to, like, freedom of your ability to choose that you can die when it's your time to die, man? Like, please. And especially now with in some places, the United States, you're allowed to store your own blood. In Canada, you're not allowed to store your own blood. They won't take it. But it's a very good idea, to be honest, to store your own blood so that you could say, okay, maybe give me a transfusion if it's my own blood. But if someone else's blood, I don't know what they're eating. I don't know what kind of stuff is floating around their DNA. And I wouldn't want that. And I would just do coconut water, a coconut water blood transfusion. I don't know if that's a legit thing, but I have heard that they can use it as that because it's blood plasma, or it's the same molecules of blood plasma or something. But anyways, my point is that, exactly, die on your feet, don't live on your knees. I would sooner, okay? You saw Braveheart. That's my sentiments. Okay, freedom. You saw The Patriot. I would sooner die on my feet than live on my knees, man. Because guess what? You may be thinking, dude, I just want things to kind of go back to normal, man. Yes, this immense amount of power and control that the government has had the last 16 months, they're about to let go of all that power and control, and it's about to get back to normal. If we just do what else they say that we've all been pretty much doing for, 16 months. Not me anyway, but of course, 99% of the population has been complying. And so, that's true, DQ, IWXU. So my point is this, okay? The fact that it's now against the law, like, they're not letting you open your business, they're not letting you do, live your life, go about your business without this new thing they're trying to push on everyone. This is my sentiments. If you comply, it's going to be worse in the long run. Whatever you think is bad now, I'll lose my job. they won't let me travel. Ooh. It's going to be worse if you comply. That's it. That's it. If you comply, you are actually, and I'm not trying to, this is what I think. People who I used to hang out with and whatnot, if they are complying fully, then I don't want to say that they're the enemy, but they are fully enabling and helping the evil plans come to fruition. Of course, it's because they believe it's in their own best interest. They believe that they're being safe. They believe that they're yada, yada, yada. But it's a belief. And a belief has a L-I-E in it, man. It's a lie. You're believing a damn lie, boy. So, it's tough, man. It's tough. I was already talking about this yesterday, and this is why you got to join my Telegram. I can talk about probably 30% of the stuff I want to talk about on here that I can talk about on Telegram. Make sure you join my private, uncensored Telegram channel. It's at the link in my bio. I don't know how much longer I'm going to leave it public for, because I do want to talk about things in there that get more intense without getting, Anyways, link in my bio. Download the app, Telegram. Join the app. Discuss freely. I got the comments turned on. People are talking. Today, some lady was triggered because I posted... Can I pull it up on here? Oh, no, I don't have it. Maybe I actually have it too. Hold on a sec. I posted about how, and of course, some people, you may be offended, but let me just say this, okay? In, what year was it? 19 something, okay? Something very interesting happened. In 19 something, there was a liberation movement for women called the Women's Liberation Movement. And the most evil mother trucker around funded it. Funded it and wanted it to be a thing and wanted it to be super, super popularized. And that guy was Rockefeller. The same guy who's enslaving you with the financial system, the same guy who controls your education system, et cetera, et cetera. This guy has a good point. He says, a bus is predestined to a destination. If you miss the bus, then you don't get to your destination. Same with heaven and free will. Actually, I don't understand that. I first understood that when I first quickly read it, but now I don't. Okay, let's go, man. I want to show the post. Anyway, it said, since... this doesn't pull up, man. Do I got to download Telegram? Anyways, long story short, it was talking about the women's liberation movement and how the entire thing, the whole reason that they did that in the first place, was for the single use of removing mothers from homes where they're raising children, get them into the workforce so that they're not home, and then the government can tax the other half of the population, and then send the children to government-owned education, aka indoctrination systems. That's been the entire plan. That's why this lady jumps on, because I made a post that said, and it's just downloading here, that said, feminism has created this, this, and this. And it's like, less children, less marriages, corporate slavery, what was the other things? More depression, more suicides, yada, 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 all this stuff. And this lady said, feminism is about empowering and it's about dismantling the patriarchy. No. Feminism was never about that. It was to disrupt the family unit, which is one of the only things, if not the only thing, that stands between global enslavement and human freedom, is a family unit. Anything that holds people together, okay, is something they will go after. A family is a very powerful bond, okay? Thank you, Kay Benai. She's pulling it up for me. Really appreciate that, because this shit isn't loading, and this is a piece of shit computer. I need to get a new one. Anyways, so that's the very interesting thing. And then this lady was triggered. She's like, oh my God, you guys are patriarchs. You are xenophobes. All because we were saying the truth about what feminism really and who funded it. Please, don't fall for it. Yes, okay? Not to mention, the whole thing is you're a slave if you provide, if you are nurturing and raising a family, but you're not a slave if you're working for a corporation, etc. You see what you see what doesn't make any sense there? Very strange. Let's just log in by phone number. I think someone's pulling it up anyway, but let's just see if this works. 999. Here, hold on. I'm about to get a code. I gotta put my phone off 5G here. Hold on. I should have prepared myself ahead of time, but I did not know I was going to pull this up. All right, let's go text. I'm getting a text from Telegram. They're about to log me in 1 second, then I'm going to get right back into it. Come on, you bastard. Okay, anyway, I basically went over the exact what they're doing. 1 sec. Let me go back on the 5G here. Making a joke. I don't use 5G, obviously. So yes, lady was very upset that she thought patriarch this, that. But guess what? The truth is they don't want, the system never cared about empowering women. Never cared about that, ever. It cared about dividing the family unit, sending women, think about it for a second. Me, for example, my parents still together, raised in a, mom and dad, brothers, whatever. And beautiful thing, beautiful situation. And I spent a lot of time with my mom. Now, and my dad, they both lived together at home, right? But also, my mom worked a full-time job. And so there was perhaps, many, and then I'm put into daycare for a bit. And at the time, none of this was traumatic, but it is technically subconsciously, you're supposed to be around your family. I could imagine it had been a very different thing if, dad's working, cool, which he was, of course, and you're more raised by your mom. But then after 4 years old, I'm in school, daycare, nanny, and I still got to see my mom all the time, every day after work, yada, yada. But you're not getting fully raised by who you should be, which is your parents. You're getting raised by the state. You're going to public school. Okay? And all this stuff. So it seems that they really actually, there is a concerted effort. You would be different if you were fully raised by your mom at home versus being raised by a nanny who's not family, but maybe nice and cool. I had a nana. She was nice. Still around. Like a grandma, but a nana. Anyways, and it's different, and you kind of should be raised by your parents, not by the state, a daycare, strangers who don't really a stranger isn't going to love you as much as your parents. Of course. But yet parents, and this is the thing, this is why many women, it's smart. You have multiple kids. The amount it would cost you to send them to daycare, this is why this is a life hack here. Listen to this. If you have enough kids, 2 or 3 kids, and you're working a job, and you're I got to put my kids in daycare so I can work. But if daycare costs $30 per kid per day and you have 3 kids, it's $90 a day. If you're only making $120 a day, $150 a day, it's worth it for you to just not work and be the own daycare. And then if you're really smart, you get a couple other neighbors to send their kids to you. Although that kind of just completely contradicts what I'm trying to say is that you want to be raised by your own family. But I'm just saying there's ways around this where it costs you more to send your kids to school or to daycare than it would be if you stayed home and raised them yourself, okay? And so, all I can say is this. There's an intentional plan to just take away more and more time from the bond that is supposed to develop between parents and children. And that's the situation that that feminism, okay? And I'm not talking about feminism in terms of we're all equal. Yes, we are all equal, okay? And none of us are more equal than others. We're all equal. Of course. And if you really want to talk about feminism and you're in America or you're in Canada or you're in Europe, and you're feminism, we don't have enough rights. It's Saudi Arabia just let women drive last 3 years ago. They still stone them to death You're considered a whore if your ankles are showing. There's countries around the world you can't have your hair down, and you're in the freest countries in the world, fully mind controlled, hating men, believing you don't have enough freedoms and rights in the countries you're born in. As long as you're not born in some of these third world countries and even in Saudi Arabia, you're allowed to drive, but there must be a man in the car if you're a woman. Isn't that so what are you really protesting in Canada or in Europe or in America? And I see these videos of women pretty much naked protesting in the streets for female rights or what is it? Don't objectify us. You're naked in the streets. What? Bring back modesty, man. All right. Bring back modesty. Bring back morals, please. Okay, because otherwise, very, very strange that there's these huge feminist protests in a country where you can vote, get a job, yada yada, have the highest capita of dollar amount, and then people say, "Well, hold on a second, though." The thing is that this is the thing, okay? Men get paid more. Well, men also die at work more, about 100 times more than women. They commit 100 times more suicides. They 90% of the time lose their house and money if they get divorced. Women always win the court cases usually. That's a whole another pandemic type of thing, epidemic. And so look at Oprah, man. Look at and she's the one complaining about equality as well. Meanwhile, she's literally the financial elite, satanic bloodlust, has sacrificed people. I mean, you don't get to Oprah's position without doing some very strange things. Someone said, well, why is the breast not equal to chest showing? I'll tell you this. If you have a daughter, you're not going to want to your daughter to be topless in general, okay? Walking around. It's a very strange thought, okay? So someone's going to say, dude, but no, that's patriarchy, because if your chest should show, our breasts should be able to show. Okay, show your breasts. I'm not going to complain about that, but I do think that would not be the most, based on our culture, the most wife-worthy kind of, that would not be my thing, man. If you're literally in public, tarps off, I do prefer modesty and morals and whatnot than, except when breastfeeding, of course. Please. If you're doing that, that's the number one reason that it should be out, okay? We got people advertising breasts for burgers, breasts for TV shows. We got, all this type of thing. But then some people have a problem with breastfeeding in public. Please, okay? Please. Fuck culture. We're all humans with bodies. I can tell you this. Culture is a very important part of humans, okay? Very, very important part of humans. That people go, forget about it, man. Culture is we're all one, man. Yeah. Yes, we are all humans, but we also have different cultures. And you should be, it's a good idea to be proud and to also, very interestingly, preserve your culture. Otherwise, they will have something known as this is what they say. They say diversity. We need more and more diversity. But guess what? You don't have diversity if a nation that's had a culture for thousands of years all of a sudden has millions of people in it from other cultures, and then the diversity is such that culture, for example, let's talk about Germany for a second. I just watched a guy talk about how Germany had let in, because of United Nations, because of the plan to destabilize the Middle East, millions of people had to flee the Middle East. And although Saudi Arabia could have taken them in, many other countries could have taken them in, instead they all went to Europe. And Angela Merkel said, Germany is a strong nation. We will let in 1 million people, immigrants, okay? Or what you call, they're fleeing their nation. So that is a migrant or whatever it is, where they're just, Anyways, they show up, and what is a statistical fact is that there's a humongous spike in crime rates, humongous, gigantic rates increased in rape. and horrible things. I don't see exactly who benefited from letting in 1 million people into Germany, refugees, because you have a situation where the crime rate's higher, the living, it's not more comfortable for these migrants. They're living in slums in Germany now, as opposed to slums in their countries they came from. And you have higher crime. And again, the culture is forever altered unless they all go back. And now remember that Gandhi said, you should be blooming where you planted. Bloom where you planted. Star Disciples, I'm pretty sure I said that because the United Nations and the Agenda 21 plan to destabilize the Middle East, I already said that. So you're about one comment from getting kicked out, man. You've been chirping. I don't know what you are, where you came from, but I know you're pissed off. I can feel the anger in your comments. Oh my God, he's saying that maybe letting 1 million people into Germany that only has like a certain amount of millions of people is maybe not such a good idea. What a bigot. He must be, ha. Well, go talk to the people in the streets who can no longer go out at night because the areas are so crime-ridden. Okay, maybe do that, and then we'll consider going forward. But anyways, if you noticed also, Hungary has some of the strictest immigration policies and in any other European nation. There's a big fence, and there's border patrol. People show up, they frisk them, make sure they don't have guns, and they send them back to their nation, whether it's Serbia, which is the couple bordering countries, but they put them back across the fence and said, don't come in. That's it. And there's no gigantic spike in crime and rape rates. Because think about it. No government who says, yes, 1 million people who we haven't screened, we don't know who are criminals, we'll just let them in from their country into our country. Woo, good idea. They don't care about their citizens, because countries that have had gigantic mass immigration like that do have increase in crime, etc. And in general safety for the people who live there, not a good idea. Same with Vancouver, for example. Vancouver in Canada, very prosperous place. Then Canada said, okay, let in millions of people from, not millions, but a gigantic percentage of people from Asia into our countries. Then the richest people from Asia come to Canada. It's cleaner, it's nicer, at least than China. And then all of a sudden, you have a situation where no local, housing price is the highest it's ever been in Vancouver. It did not benefit Canadians to let in millions of people from other countries. It did not. It's disadvantageous to anyone who's living in that country to let in millions of people. You have a situation where no one can afford housing anymore except the uber rich that come from these other countries. And you do also have spikes in crime. It is what it is. It's a statistical fact. Someone will say, dude, you're saying that people from other countries commit more crimes. I'm saying statistically, you have a situation where, yes, more people that are not screened, that are just let in blindly, seems to destabilize, does have an effect on the culture of the nation, of course. That's why Japan, for example, I heard Sadiq Khan, the London mayor, or was it Scotland? Whatever this, Sadiq Khan. He's a mayor of some European city. And he said, terrorist attacks are just a nature of living in a big city. You're gonna have to live with it. And Japan, which is gigantic cities, doesn't have terrorist attacks. 98% of Japan is Japanese people. So if you truly want diversity, then you should allow nations to flourish from where they are. And then you will have a diverse culture around the world. Mixing everyone together creates kind of like think about it. You go to America, there's a culture that varies, honestly, state to state. You go to different places in Europe. You have Hungary, you have this, you have, London, etc. You have all these places. If everyone just smorgasbords, there's no diversity. So when they say diversity is diversity, well, it's actually not technically diverse if everyone just completely, and then every nation is just mixed in terms of, the cultures of different nations. So please, let's just remember that when they tell you that we're doing this for your betterment. Well, statistically, look what happened in Germany after letting in 1 million refugees and whatnot. So very, very strange. And please don't think that Angela Merkel let them in because she cares about the livelihoods of any other people on earth. This is part of the plan to destabilize nations around the world, is destabilize a place and then send all the people from that place to a place that wasn't destabilized to destabilize them, is what it is. Exactly what it is. Someone said that there's mass illegal immigration. That's what made America. What made America was survival of the fittest. Someone's going to say, dude, that's so messed up that you just said that. But think about it for a second. Every nation in human history, every population in human history, Turkey, enslaved Armenians. Mongolia enslaved Chinese, Chinese enslaved Mongolia back. You have every Asian nation battled warfare with each other, slaughtered, chopped each other's heads off, fought over land and resources, enslaved one another, all throughout history, okay? It's survival of the fittest. You fight over land, you fight over resources. It has been human history since a very, very long time. So illegal immigration, how America was formed, well, if that's how you want to picture it, you can picture that. Then you might as well say every country on earth is illegal because they were all founded on blood. There's blood been spilled on every single different continent on earth. It is what it is. But yes, exactly. Let me see. Yeah, there's a lot of people from other countries who appreciate the freedom-oriented belief system of the United States. That is a statistical fact. You have Cubans protesting for freedom against these tyrannical regimes, and they're holding American flags. And then you have Americans in America hating their own nation, saying that it is, it's so not proper here. Please. Let's see. So we got a bunch of questions streaming in, of course. And, wow, that's interesting. Thoughts on Quebec coming out with the you-know-what passport ID? Yes, that is also a plan. That it seemingly was announced today, unfortunately. Clairvoyant Poet said, you don't think it would be fun to jump in the Matrix if it was divinely designed? I don't know what you mean by that, because we live in a Matrix right now, and part of it is definitely, exactly, if you don't like America, you may as well decide to no longer live there then, because there's a lot of people who do like the ability to be able to defend yourself in a life and death situation, etc. So very, very strange that some hate the freest nation on earth, who live in the freest nation on earth. And other nations like China, if you talk smack about the government, they put your ass in jail. So think about that for a moment. Yes, exactly. Star Disciples. Anyway, I like your content, man. But remember, and please don't assume my gender, a lot of anti-immigration stuff, anti-feminism, etc. is really division. It's really everyone versus the 1%. It is everyone versus the less than 1%. But you also must understand that, it's not anti-feminism. I'm pro divine natural order. Natural order is not women leave their babies. In nature, animals don't leave their babies until they're adults, okay? Generally speaking, until a bird can fly and it knows how to eat, and it's, in doggy years, the dogs eventually take off. I mean, my point is this, that doesn't happen. So I'm pro natural divine order, which is humans aren't meant to abandon their children and put them in strangers' hands, okay? Which is what feminism promotes. Get a job, don't get married, work a job, don't raise a family. You're enslaved if you serve your family, but you're not enslaved if you work at a corporation. So I'm not anti anything. And it is, and of course, with the mass immigration that is just completely unsustainable, that too is part of the agenda. Not to say that the immigrants themselves are, the enemy, but it's a matter of, if you take millions of people from a country that, for example, women are considered to be whores if their legs are showing, if their ankles are showing, and you put those into a country that has more freedom around what you can wear, etc., there's a very, that's bound, that's like, oil and water. It is what it is. And the crime statistics show that. That's all I'm saying. So it's good to be aware of the agendas. It's also good to understand that, yes, they do want all of us enslaved, regardless of where you've come from. 100%. So yes, very good question. Now, the other thing I wanted to say, because we've been talking about recently the fact that this all comes down to them wanting to calcify your pineal gland, them wanting to damage your DNA with very strange chemicals and ingredients. They have millions and millions of women taking birth control, which is unfortunately a part of the depopulation agenda, because I knew a lady who told me her birth control she took for 8 years, she found out was patented by Monsanto. It said right on it, patented by Monsanto. And these types of things can cause infertility, guys drinking tap water or showering. Yeah, exactly, Miss Kim. Showering in tap water, etc. All these things can impact and disrupt your endocrine system. Most guys, I can tell you this, unless you are eating fully organic and taking superfoods, if you're watching this video right now and you are a guy, and I'm going to get to if you're a girl, you are probably at a rate of 10 to 12% of the testosterone that you should have. Because if you're getting pesticides into you, if you're getting fluoride, you're showering in tap water, you're drinking tap water, you are consuming non-organic foods, you're eating GMOs, etc. You have severely, you've impacted your endocrine system. You have a fraction of the testosterone you should have. Testosterone is what makes men like Braveheart. You ever seen Braveheart? Testosterone is what makes men like the Patriot, okay, Mel Gibson, absolute Chad, okay? That is what that hormone is supposed to do for you. We're supposed to have it in ample quantities. But that's why you've seen Braveheart, how they had to cut him open and kill him because he was this freedom-oriented dude, and the king had to take him out and make an example of him to stop other guys from rising up and resisting the totalitarian regime against the Scottish in the movie, the Braveheart. You see why that happened? That movie is hiding in plain sight, that they cannot have alphas, okay? In society, they need to weed them out as much as possible, because those are the ones who are going to lead the way to say, we're not actually going to be enslaved. Thank you very much. So that's part of the reason that they are trying to intentionally decimate men's testosterone levels. It is what it is. It's a hormone that is incredibly important, divinely given to you, and you technically are disgracing yourself anytime. That's not the codes, Armin. Thank you. Oh, that's why you're asking. It's 35 life and 44 off. It is the fact that they don't want strong men. They don't want strong women. It is a multifaceted attack against all, regardless, okay? Against all. It is what it is. And they're pushing this. So guys who are watching this right now, I don't want you to feel like, damn, man, I have the lowest testosterone ever, because you probably have a significantly lower reduced. I used to eat organic. I've been eating organic for years. I thought, oh, my T levels must be great. I didn't even think about testosterone. I literally did not ever think about testosterone. I thought, if I don't consume endocrine disrupting chemicals, I should be good to go. No. Showering in tap water for years, drinking fluoride for years, it takes years to decalcify, to restore and rejuvenate from these very strange chemicals and ingredients. Thank you, Janica. Takes years. And so then only when, and I have a video, it's still on one of my highlights. You can go and scroll, and it's a bit embarrassing, but you will hear the difference in about 3 different octaves of, this is a year and a half ago, starting to take chalk. We know the chalk daily boosts testosterone. Okay, we know the action is super good for your endocrine system. Within 6 months of taking chalk, my voice as a 24-and-a-half-year-old had gotten deeper by the time I turned, like a year and a half, 6 months later, like I said, by the time I was, 25. You can hear a difference in the tonality of my voice. Your voice that gets, what guys have a deep voice because of that, is testosterone. So when you have these more or less kind of dweeby, high-pitched, absolutely not masculine at all guys, it's due to the fact that testosterone is being intentionally kept from them by the system that is putting synthetic chemicals into your system to disrupt you. Statistical fact. For women, similar thing. You have women who are feeling more tendencies that is not so feminine. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it is part of the fact that your estrogen levels have been reduced by these strange chemicals that also reduce men's testosterone, and it has a, contravention effect on your system. That's not the proper grammar, but what I'm saying is it makes you produce more testosterone and less estrogen. So they're reversing the production of both men and women's testosterone. If you scroll through my highlights enough, you will see a video of me talking about the chalk daily. And when I took this for, like I said, it was probably 3 to 6 months of taking it, and my voice literally got deeper. You can go and watch that. It's just audio, but it's very, very interesting. When I first started saying, guys, like, chalk daily is great, man. And I just sound like a fucking dweeb, man. And that was after years of eating organic foods even. It takes years to rejuvenate and restore your system from these chemicals. We have similar experiences with from women taking these superfoods also. Where do you order the Chalk products? You go to the link in my bio. There's many links in my bio for Chalk. You can also just go straight up to chalk.com. Look how many people are laughing right now, but seriously, it did sound like you will laugh. You're going to go watch this. I think it says voice change. I think that's the title of the highlight in my stories. But anyways, I got some news though for everyone, okay? Some big news. You heard that, you may have got the email from Chalk that there's a new Chalk supplement. Someone's like, oh fuck, no way. Because most of you probably already have every Chalk supplement. We know that before I get to that, we know that the most popular combination for men is the Daily Action Combo. Very, very powerful endocrine system, testosterone boosting, natural all-day energy levels, concentration and focus, extreme superfoods. We got the rhodiola in here that's wild crafted in Siberia. This comes from Siberia, man. The whole world is involved in the production of these powerful, natural, clinically studied ingredients. So the Daily Action for men, most popular. And generally, the Shilajit and the Irish moss is the most popular for women. Keep in mind that the minerals that are in the Shilajit they're fully bioavailable. Your body actually absorbs them. And if you're even deficient in one mineral, your body can be thrown into complete dysfunction. One mineral. You're supposed to get every single one of the 102 minerals every single day. And if you do not, then you are in a deficient state. And even if you're eating fully organic, like I say often, even if you're eating fully organic, you're still only getting 10% of the minerals. So right now, it's no longer a option. Oh, maybe I'll take a supplement. It is a requirement in today's world. Unless, like I said, you live in Tibet, you live on Mount Kailash, you drink spring water from the mountains, you eat yaks, you have the eggs from their chickens, you have this, you have that, and you have no toxins exposed to you at all, then you're probably decent. But even them, even the Tibetan monks, okay, have superfoods. They have, all kinds of, they have Shilajit. Mount Kailash produces Shilajit. People have Shilajit coming from Mount Kailash. That is the superfood that comes out of mountains. That's the purified Shilajit. Been used for thousands of years. And by the way, because of the ongoing supply chain disruptions that is facing the world right now, Chalk did say that they aren't sure. They're going to have to tone down the discounts, okay? Like 35% and 44% are big discounts based on compared to what could happen in the future if the supply chain is affected negatively, which is very possible. Would I start feeling a change from the Shilajit after only 2 days? Many people feel it the first day they take it, but keep in mind that the clinically studied benefits are based on 90 days of consistent consumption. Chalk does ship worldwide. And if you're going to, for example, be getting shipped to, this guy's talking about the Netherlands, this woman, I don't mean to assume your gender, the best thing you could do if you're getting a order overseas is to stock up on a multi-month supply using the code 44OFF. These are the 2 discount codes that Chalk activated for today that are what is known as, there's only 50 slots available for them. 50 slots available, so make sure you get in while it is active. But Chalk activated, and if you're overseas, like I said, you got to get 44% off and get a multi-month supply. If you look what I'm holding in my hand right now, this is the all new. You probably can't even read it because it's backwards and it's a long word. I'll give you all a moment. It is the Chalk Ashwagandha. Okay? You asked, Chalk delivered. This is the only clinically studied, okay, concentrated Tongkat Ali extract in the world. The only one. Protected by multiple patents. The way that they extract it is protected by multiple patents. Ashwagandha is another Shilajit. It is another version of Shilajit. It's a rare adaptogen from the natural world. It is a potent superfood. They also say that it, of course, like most Chalk supplements, but in a different way, supports healthy mood and focus. I'm still learning the ropes about ashwagandha. It's a totally new thing. It's a very, very powerful superfood. They also say supports hormone health. So again, it probably boosts guys' testosterone, balances women's hormones. I already took one today, but you know what? I'll take another dose. I'm about to do a quadruple dose. I just got 4 bottles in the mail. I want to get more just to have a stockpile of it, especially if there is supply chain shortages. I'm not getting caught with my pants down here without enough Chalk, without enough ashwagandha. How long to deliver to Europe? I believe it's 5 to 15 business days. It really varies. Sometimes it is extremely fast. Other times there is delays. I would get on it before the potential disruptions. Chalk may not even be able to ship to Europe if there is a disruption in the supply chain. Can we take chalk if we're a smoker? Fiona, if you're smoking cigarettes, which there is certain sources of organic cigarettes that you actually can get, but if you're smoking cigarettes, then you definitely want to be taking something that supports lung health, respiratory health, which is the chalk armor. Definitely the chalk armor. Look on the website, respiratory function. You got anti-aging ingredients in here like the astragalus and quercetin, very, very powerful chalk armor. And the other one for lung health is definitely Irish moss, one of the most powerful supplements for your respiratory function. Okay, Irish moss. How long to ship to Argentina? I think it's similar to Europe, 5 to 15 business days. So that's could be up to 3 weeks. So that's why you only want to pay shipping once and you want to get a multi-month supply. Go to the link in my bio and use the code, if you're in the United States, 35life for a lifetime 35% off discount. Or if you're overseas, anywhere outside of the United States, definitely use the code 44OFF, 44OFF. On your cart, when you get to your cart at chalk.com, you'll see a place to enter a coupon code. Enter the code 44OFF. And do not, by the way, get it full price. Make sure you use a discount code. Here's the ashwagandha someone told me to take. I will. It smells like coconut sugar. You ever smell coconut sugar? Totally smells like coconut sugar. I guess ashwagandha it's a root extract. That's the thing. It says right here that ashwagandha is a must-have for living in the modern world, of course, because all the pollutants we're exposed to. With essential cortisol support. So cortisol is your stress hormone, which is very dangerous to testosterone levels and estrogen levels. If you're getting stressed out, if you're stressed due to chemicals in the environment, Wi-Fi even, very strange, those types of things make you produce cortisol, which is the stress hormone, which is not good for you. Thank you, Happy Mama. I will do a TikTok today about the human barcode agenda thing. This standardized extract comes from organically grown roots and leaves and is protected by multiple patents. So sometimes if you just get the extract from the root, you're not getting the full thing. If you just get the extract from the leaf, you're not getting the full thing. This ashwagandha is from both the root and the leaves, and it has the highest amount of bioactives compared to any other ashwagandha extracts out there. I'm telling you right now, if you see super cheap ashwagandha, it is from China. You get what you pay for, even though this is only $35 a month, and if you get 35% off for life, 35% of $35, 10% of $35 or $350, 369, $25 a month for ashwagandha if you use the code 35life. Holy shit. If you don't get Chalk's first, this is their pre-batch release of the ashwagandha at $25 a month plus shipping, and of course if you get other supplements, you lower the bottle cost as well, and then you getting a multi-month supply of stuff. $25 a month. You got to be nuts. If you don't use the 35life code, man, I'm going to be very surprised. Sorry for assuming your gender. Go to chalk.com or go to the link in my bio. How do I know Chalk is legit? This specific source of ashwagandha has 15 clinical studies. You got to go to chalk.com. You got to look at the clinical studies for yourself and look at the multiple lab tests, search results. Look at the thousands of third-party verified 5-star reviews in the story highlights of Get Chalk. And definitely do your own due diligence. I'm telling you right now, you're going to see that you get what you pay for with Chalk. Also, make sure you get the Action 2.0 for all-day natural energy. The code is 35life and 44 off. The lifetime discount is 35life, 44 off for 44% off all orders store-wide. Where's the Irish moss harvested? Nova Scotia. $22.75. It's not even $25. Holy shit, baby. It's peaches. That's insane. Ashwagandha, men or women, potent adaptogen, superfood, hormone optimizer. Very, very powerful. Get it. It's beautiful. It's got the patented extraction method. You're going to love it. It has the highest bioactives. Join my Telegram channel. We will talk extremely soon. I'm going to go live later tonight. Much love, everyone. Okay. Talk to me soon and DM me, like I said, if you have any questions. Any questions, DM me.